3-part series on Romeo and Juliet. Okay, so first of all, we're going to cover the first part of this series, and that's going to be the social context and the historical context. First of all, we're going to have a look at the social context. Now, what this means is we're going to have a look at what it was like in the time that the play was written and the world of the play script. Back then, it was a very different time. It was written in the 1500s, but the actual play, the world of the play script, is set in the 1300s. Now, in the 1300s, it was very common for very young girls to get married. And when I say very young, I literally mean 13 years old. So they would probably be engaged from 11 to 12 years old, married by 13, having a baby at 14. So these girls were really, really young. And that is the way of life for our main characters. So keep that in mind. Now, back in that day, marriage was not for love. You would not be like, oh, I'm going to marry you because I love you. No, it was a political alliance, yeah? So it was usually this rich family wants to marry this other rich family so they can have more money. So it was all to do with how much money you can get out of a marriage. And because of this, marriage was not love-based. So the people that were getting married, they probably didn't even meet each other until their parents arranged for it. So the people getting married, they had no choice in the matter, really. It was all to do with the parents setting it up. Alright, so the guys were about 30-ish years old and they were marrying 13-year-old girls. Now, in order for the parents and the bride to go through with this marriage, they would have to court. And what this means is the male has to spend time with the female under the supervision of other people. So this courting thing would happen for a couple of weeks, months, however long they're comfortable with, up until they properly put a ring on it and get married. So that was their way of dating back then. So that is it for the social context. Let's have a look at the historical context. Now, when I say historical context, I'm talking about why Shakespeare wrote the play and what motivated him to do it in the first place. He wrote the play because he wanted to highlight the tragedy and the comedy that can come out from romance in relationships. So at the time, men would play it's really sad. At the time of Shakespeare, men would play female characters. So they would literally hire young boys to play girls. Now back in that time, Juliet would have been played by a young boy. Literally all the girls would have been played by young boys because they had the high-pitched voices, because there were no female actresses back in the day. That's just the way it was in Shakespeare's time. In Shakespeare's time as well, the demand for live theatre was not as common, in the sense that a lot of their entertainment came from travelling troupes. Now what this means is there would be people travelling around in carts and they just perform out in the street. It's kind of like busking. Shakespeare is the one that made theatre shows popular with his crazy amount of plays. Romeo and Juliet was one of his very first plays. He ended up writing Romeo and Juliet because he would always hear men and women complaining about, oh, my relationship is so hard. This person is making my life so hard. I don't want to be with them anymore. But he wanted to make it so that this play highlights how there are much worse situations you can be in a relationship. So he was basically saying to all those people complaining that, dude, your life is so much easier compared to Romeo and Juliet, which we'll get to later on in the plot. So that's about it for the historical context. Now that you guys have a really good and solid idea about what was going on in Shakespeare's head when he wrote this and what's going on in the set. So thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Did you enjoy watching it? Give us a like and subscribe to our channel. Click here to subscribe and click over here for more fun videos just like this one. For more personalized help, feel free to check out our website for more online tutoring schedules as well. Thank you guys so much and we'll catch you guys next time.